And welcome to this presentation. It's about fibre optic to the home. Many people are asking me a lot of questions about, for example, what is fibre to the home? There's been quite a few terminologies thrown around there, which is at the moment, which is FTTH, fibre to the node, FTTP, and I've just thought I'd expand on these and give a quick explanation of what each of these different things is. This one stands for fibre to the home. This one stands for fibre to the node, and I'll just go into this in a little bit more detail because this initially was what the NBN was going to be, and now it's been obviously withdrawn. And this one's fibre to the premises. Basically, oops, bad spelling. Basically, the two of these are almost identical. It's just that what happened is fibre to the home didn't really accommodate business, so now they brought out FTP, which is fibre to the premises, which can include business or include residential. I'll just grab a new sheet here. Now, the difference between fibre to the node and fibre to the premises is a very simplistic one. If fibre to the node, if you've ever seen the green boxes that are on the roadside, so when driving on the road you can see those Telstra green boxes sitting there. What it means is that the fibre is fibre from the exchange out to this green box that sits on the side of the road, and then there's copper that goes into the home from there. Because of the very short distance, maybe under less than a kilometre, this means that they can achieve speeds of around about 30 to 40 megabits a second. So by bringing that distance in shorter between there and the home, they can achieve a lot higher speeds. Obviously, this is not as good as fibre to the home or fibre to the premises. I'll use fibre to the premises from now on because obviously that encompasses business and residential. Basically, the way fibre to the premises works, or FTP, is you have the exchange, the telephone exchange, and you just have one long piece of fibre that goes all the way to the home. And across this we will put things like television, data or internet, and voice. Now, there's two types of fibre to the premises that's commonly talked about in the marketplace at the moment. And these, and for those who are not familiar with it, I'll just cover them quickly, is PON, which stands for Passive Optical Network, and active fibre. Now, the difference between these two is quite simple. In a single piece of fibre,
it's 1 o'clock.
What you have is you have different wavelengths of light travelling down the fibre. All different ones. There might be short wavelengths like this, and there might be really long wavelengths like this. Now, on a passive optical network, which is this one up here, what happens is, from the telephone exchange you might only run one piece of fibre, and they run it out to a thing called a splitter. And from that splitter they take a single wave of light and send one to each home. This was quite a good method, as it was saving costs here in the fibre, and these splitters were relatively cheap. The market's since changed a little bit since then, and it's actually the fibre has come down in price. And so it's actually cheaper to run a single fibre from the exchange I'm just going to call it EX for the moment, all the way to the home. Now, by doing this, it means that each home now has every wave of light traveling to it rather than just obviously getting one singled out. Each wavelength at the moment can carry about 40 gigabits in total capacity. 40 gigabits. So you can see by actually using a PON solution, you're restricting down because they don't have access to all the waves. They've only got access to a single one because it splits it at the splitter. So in this day and age where the cost of PON and active is actually cheaper, you're better off to give every single person their own piece of fibre. Sometimes I try and make the analogy that it's almost like taking a TV signal and splitting it. The more times you split it, the more loss you've got. So the more waves of light that are separated off, the less capacity you've got. So you're better off to run a single fibre per home, and that way they've got the total capacity of the fibre. There's been some many questions about what the government's doing in this space at the moment, and what the government's hoping to do is before July 2010. So let's put this up here because that really is the magic date. Every property developer who hasn't built is going to be required to install fibre optic to their premises. So pretty much fibre is going to become the standard, and what the government's going to do is there'll be two markets. There'll be what's called brownfield, which is homes already built, and then there'll be greenfield, which is homes being constructed, or no homes constructed yet. With greenfield, the government is expecting the developer to pay. And with brownfield, the government's going to pay, which is what you're hearing about, which is the NBN project. So in the end of the day, because we're dealing with property the greenfields market, the property developer is going to be expected to pay. So that then poses the question of what models are available to the property developer. The model my company builds, which is TSN,